if Rockstar can get away with charging $100 for their game, will other developers start doing the same exact thing? And that's a big worry for us and just gamers in general. Because one, games were $60 and then upgraded to PS5 and games went to $70. And we were like, okay, that sucks. But it was only a $10 increase. But if developers jump to $100 every game, dude, that's a problem because devs think their game's worth $100, but the quality of the game is not $100. And I'm gonna say this now.
Say it,
All the
Justin.
Optic fans,
Say it.
they did not want Kenny. And then Kenny wins a 1v2 against his old team for them to win. Map 5, round 11. He is the guy that Optic needed. Welcome, everyone, to episode 206 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin.
And I'm Mike.
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, bro. So we gotta start this off. I looked back when you sent me the episode, and I was like, not really feeling that well. I was like, oh, I don't know if anything's gonna happen to it. Like the little cold that I had. Yeah, sure as hell. It like totally came into something. Yeah, it was awful. I mean, it wasn't as bad as yours, like no doubt. It was just like, a really bad cold. I took a couple of days off work. Because I took Thursday off, and I'll tell you, dude, I took it as like a pity day, like a week ago. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna go in Thursday. Why not? That's my only day off. I can get some other stuff done. And then that week rolls around, and then sure as hell, the day where I'm full blown ill is Thursday. So I pretty much just said to myself, I'm never gonna take another day off. Like anytime I do, it's pretty much a death sentence for me. Then I'm gonna get sick. But yeah, no, I rebounded, which was good. So, and I'm sure you have too now by this point fully.
Oh yeah, no, I'm good completely now.
Yeah, dude. I think whenever you're sick, I'm always like this, where I kind of forget what it's like to not be sick.
Yeah, because it lasts so long.
Yeah, I'm
or
just
like the time's just miserable when you're
right.
actually sick.
Yeah, and I'm just like, dude, I wonder what it's like to just go and breathe normally or
Yeah.
not be sniffling all the time. Or I got like tissues all over the place, and I'm like, it's pissing me off. My dude's disgusting in here. Like I gotta clean it up, get back to my normal life.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, I've been chilling. I've been playing over the past couple of weeks, and even since Thursday and today, I've been playing a ton of COD.
Yeah.
I have been on the hustle on Black Ops 6. So
Nice.
that's been a blast too. 9th prestige now, bro.
Oh, there you go.
Cruising.
There's two prestiges ahead of me. I haven't played. I mean, I was gone. I was in Boston all weekend.
Yeah,
and I just didn't get on this week, to be honest.
Yeah, it's well, they obviously did double XP this weekend, and I was trying to take full advantage of it. And yeah, dude, our buddy that's in our friend group, he's past you now too, just to piss you off a little bit more. Yeah.
All right. Good to know.
Yeah, I had to light that fire under you, bro.
I mean,
because I see the 3 a.m. sessions coming in quick.
Yeah, I'll catch up. No, I'm not worried about it. I'll catch 2 prestiges week.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, I'm good.
Easily. Well, and that's the whole thing that we've said so many times before that I like about it is like I can go and play I can play this game and get ahead, or you can get ahead of me, and it doesn't really matter because there's no real deadline. Like we've got season 2 coming up. I think it's the end of this week that we're recording.
Is it? Or is it tomorrow?
Well, I had heard from what I've seen that it's going to be coming out. I think it's a January 28th. I think the season though ends. It may end a couple of days earlier, and then it's like it's got to roll into the next one. I don't know if it's just like, directly into the next.
Yeah.
But I think that season's only going to be affecting like rank play stuff. Like
and the new season pass, like
right.
That's really it. But yeah, rank play's I guess like only thing. Well, and I mean like we're getting other updates and stuff,
right?
Like normal, but yeah, in terms of, I guess, all the leveling and stuff, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
We can say in rank we went undefeated.
Dude, that is true.
We never lost.
We never did, bro.
Never lost.
Yeah, I know, especially in the climate of all these hackers, bro. We were the few who got through it unscathed. We're like,
Un-
dude, I don't know what you're talking about.
Undeniable.
Yeah, dude. Legit, we are the definitive duo in rank. Yeah, we put in the hard work and we shit on everybody pretty much throughout the entire season. Um but yeah, I mean we've got a whole bunch of updates for this episode for sure because there's some
Mhm.
stuff that's been coming out from I guess really from Activision as to the quality of the life of the game. And then I think after this too, we got like maybe one more week of matches, and then we've got
Yeah.
I think not champs, sorry, we got the first major coming up.
Yeah.
We got a lot of good stuff, but I wanted to go talk about this really quick. I sent you the link to it so we could pull it up because we
Yeah.
had an absolute banger tweet on the timeline. People didn't see this more than likely because it was just a reply to a Deserto article, but I thought this was an interesting thing because this one does not surprise me in the slightest. And like we were just talking about before recording, I think this got so many likes because, like you said, so many people just agree with, well, they're obviously on the same page and they all agree with like hating on stuff that's negatively impacting them or could negatively impacting them, you
Yeah.
know? Um, if there was anybody who ever supported this or could be like, well, it's not that big of a deal, they would have gotten absolutely annihilated, you
Fried.
know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, and as you can see, part of the article, uh, GTA 6, this has been a rumor for like a while. So, I mean, I think a lot of us have seen it, but it's rumored that it's going to be $100 like from the start. And that, obviously pissed a lot of people off because they're like $100 for a video game, that's absurd. $100. But the justification for like a lot of people, and including you and I, is that this is Rockstar and like if you look at the life cycle of GTA 5, that you could sort of justify, okay, that game is a $100 game, with the amount of content you have and amount of things that you're doing within the game. And that game, what, lasted 10, like over 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So $10 a year. Still not saying that, trying to justify this $100 thing. But GTA 6, I'm sure, is going to be a great game. But the issue that a lot of people are wondering is that, or thinking is, if Rockstar can get away with charging $100 for their game, will other developers and other companies start doing the same exact thing? And that's a big worry for us and just gamers in general. Because one, we already complained when we upgraded to, well, I got now current gen consoles. Games were $60 back on, like, ever. They're always
They've
$60
always been that. Yeah.
from what I remember, at least like console games at least, right? And then upgraded to the PS5 and what is it? Xbox One? I think that's the newest one. I
I
can't
think
remember.
or the Series
Series
X, I
One,
think.
Series X, yeah. Games went to $70. And we were like, okay, that sucks. But it was only a $10 increase. Whatever. I guess all of us will just bite the bullet. But if developers jump to $100 every game, dude, that's a problem. Because the tweet that went out was saying that devs think their games are worth $100, but the quality of the game is not $100.
Yeah. Absolutely, and I stand by that. I think that's, um, it's like when you have these developers that are kind of hoping on this, as the article says, because they want to eventually just follow along and start charging that. Um, they don't understand that most people who are going to be buying games, first off, most people don't buy games brand new anyway. I mean, I would be very interested to see what the statistics are on that, but I don't think most people buy games at launch. I think most people probably wait a little bit. Like they're going to wait either for reviews from like one of their content creators, or like what I do is usually I'll go and bookmark it on my PlayStation, and then I just wait for that game to go on sale, you know?
Mhm.
And that's at games already at 60, $70. And then even still, there's some that are at 40 that, it's like, it's still a risk. I have no idea how this game's going to turn out.
Mhm.
Everybody knows GTA 6 is going to be an unbelievable game. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be life changing. It's going to be absolutely insane. They
Mhm.
put so much money and time and effort into this game that I think this game and like very few next to it could ever warrant charging $100. And I wouldn't
Mhm.
really think much of it. I would totally buy that.
Yeah, and
Um,
just to jump in really quick, you can see like in the article here that some analysts predict that there's going to be more than $1 billion worth of pre-orders alone. That I believe. I mean, $1 billion is insane, but I know I'm going to be one of the pre-orders for
100%.
sure. Like if this game's $100, I mean, I'm able to pre-order that for $100, even if that's base. I know some people can be like, I can't do it because they're strapped for cash or whatever. But I will definitely be one of these people pre-ordering, and that $1 billion mark is insane for just pre-orders in general. But we know that Rockstar's been working on this game for so long. We know this game's going to be good. We've like Rockstar has proven over the last decade with GTA 5 how good of a game it was. And I mean it still is, but we won't go into the issues with it, like the amount of money it costs just in general in game to do stuff. But um they've made their money's worth from GTA 5 and they're going to do the same exact thing with GTA 6.
Yeah, and even when they had in between both those having Red Dead Redemption 2, I mean that game was,
Mhm.
it's a masterpiece. I think a lot of people put that in regard as one of the best single player games ever made, and it's hard to argue that. Um yeah, I think uh a lot of these development teams, they need to calm down and they need to reassess how they make games because I mean, man, there's for all the good games that are made out there, there are a lot of bad games. There's so many games that like I saw Sony, they had this um all these games that they were going to be live service games. Thank God they canceled all that because
Mhm.
that's like the trend now. You put out this game that's at like 60% done and then you ship it out and then it's like, "Oh, we're going to do a season pass and we're going to add this and add that." And it's really them just actually finishing the game, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And you have
And
to pay all that money. It's like, dude, finish your job, make the game actually solid at launch, and then I'll think about giving you the $60. And to think that they want to charge $100, like they're going to be in for a rude awakening if they do that.
yeah, and the whole trend started from Fortnite, right? But the thing is, these Fortnite came in as a free game. It's priced well because it's free. So you
Right.
can update the game, the whole live service, and they're the ones introducing the season pass, and a lot of other developers started following suit with that like model, right? But to your point, with these games releasing 60% done, and then they're charging $70 now for a brand new game, and then they're doing this live service stuff to actually completing the game. They're not pricing the game at the value it should be. You know, I think clearly, I mean that is a big issue. Um, Now, if Rockstar, we know they're going to put out this game. If it's $100, the game's done, right? The whole story's done. The campaign is done. I'm sure there's probably going to be like little bugs here and there when we go online, just because I remember GTA 5, the whole servers like blew up basically because they didn't expect that many people to play online.
Right.
But with online stuff, I feel like you have to give an exception no matter what because there's just so many things that can go wrong. But looking at the game as a core and what should be in the game, that's what you have to base, your game on and how much to value it. Whereas, like, I mean, personally, I think Black Ops 6, for example, bring it to COD. This game is a $70 game. We got two zombies maps from the start. We got a good multiplayer. We won't go into that more, but and we had a really good campaign. That's three solid things that um Treyarch put out, and I would say this is a $70 game. But the advantage of having the live support, like you said, now they can add new maps and updates, whatever. But there are a lot of AAA games that they release games at 70 and they're just not done at all.
Right.
And that needs to be fixed.
Yeah, there's too much of people just accepting this as it is what it is and trying to, give these developers excuses for this. Um, but it's true. I mean, there's very few games to me that even at the $70 price point, now even at the $60 price point, are even worth it. You know, I mean, I know that unfortunately is just the industry standard that we all expect from games, but it's like, man, I feel like years ago, even like going back a decade, like when, we were playing on the PS3, it's like, dude, when games came out, like that was the game. Like there
Mhm,
was no, they couldn't really. The same thing with like PlayStation 2 games. Like, bro, they couldn't be, sending out patch notes and like updating these games. Like once the game's done, it's done. You
mhm.
know, um, and now because they don't have to worry about that as much from a lot of these games, they can just go in and update as need be. They've just gotten lazy with it, and
Yeah.
it's it sucks because you get these games, you're like, oh, dude, I'm all excited for it,
Mhm,
and it's kind of trash, or it has to be an amazing. Like I keep saying with that game, Black Myth Wukong, because I'm almost done with it. That game for sure has visual issues,
mhm.
like there's no doubt about it. Like it's not a perfect game, but when compared to everything else that they've done and everything else they put into, it's like, okay, I can totally see why they would charge you $60 and it's worth it,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And, like, the whole yeah, I don't think it's just the devs, it's obviously whoever owns the entire, uh, like, all the developing companies
Right.
charging this, but the thing is, like, I know everything in general is just more expensive, right? Which
Yeah.
I understand of the price increase, like, everybody knows that, but, um, a good example is, like, Assassin's Creed Mirage, for example. When that game was announced, you and I were like, "This is." They went back, to the old story, not old storyline. I guess old way of what Assassin's Creed was. Very linear, follow the missions, and you go through the campaign instead of just being this open world. And those games back in the day, they were $60, and there was a bunch of content in it, and I think most of them were worth that $60 price point, right? And I always said that in this new open world style game, if this game came out as 60 $70, you are getting 60 or $70 worth of like stuff to do within the game. And I think that's, I guess, depends from person to person, because you and I like to get everything done in those games just because that's how our brains are wired. But some people only want to do just, what enough to get to the next mission in the storyline. And then you can argue, okay, maybe this game isn't actually worth it. But in my eyes, I do think those Assassin's Creed games, open world games, are worth it because you can put hours and hours into these games, and uh, it'll be worth the money you spend. But Assassin's Creed Mirage, when it came out, I was thinking, okay, are we really going to pay $70 for like an 8-hour campaign? And like that's it, you know, and then an extra $30 for DLC or whatever. And at that point, you're at $100. But they came out and brand new. That game was $50. That I was pretty like surprised about because Ubisoft is like a AAA developer, and
Right.
I was pretty shocked about that $50 price point. Um, that I mean, I haven't played the game, so I can't say it's worth $50. But I personally think brand new games that are like that, like $50 is priced more competitively than the $70 games, you know?
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, people get, they get more interested in seeing a brand new game that's going to be priced less.
Mhm,
And I think some people too just like to see from developers that they maybe have the wherewithal to think, hey, this game, like we're trying to, have you understand the intention behind this. Like this game is very linear. It's not a game that you can be putting hundreds of hours into. Um, so that's why we're going to price it less. Um, which to me makes sense. Um, In a game like GTA, yeah, people are going to be putting hundreds and hundreds, putting probably thousands of hours into this game. So you spending $100 on it, like if it ended up costing that much for us, who even knows to say this is totally true if it ends up going here.
Hmm.
But if it was, man, we're gonna put more than $10 an hour into this game. I
Hmm.
mean, it's like it's kind of a no brainer, But when you start adding that up across like what they're saying, potential other developers putting out games at this price, that's where it becomes an issue because there's gonna be a lot of games that I maybe would want to get, but I'm like I'm gonna play it once and then I'm done. You
Hmm.
know,
Yeah,
like
and
if it's not worth it then.
yeah, and like the Rockstar, I'm not going to give them a pass fully, but the thing is, they have a very good track record of every game they put out.
Yeah,
They're all
totally.
quality games, and there are very few developers that we can say that about. Like, yeah, Naughty Dog, if they came out with, uh, like, I don't know, any of their Uncharted or New Last of Us at $100, that would be hard, at least for me to swallow, just because you know me, like I play they're all single player games, right? So I play the game once and normally that's it. I don't go back and replay them unless I really,
Right.
really love the storyline. But um I'd probably buy the game like right at launch, depending what it is, just because I know their reputation and like, okay, they've shown that they can produce quality games and they take their time and they're always delaying their games too. So I could justify it. But the thing would suck is like imagine next year, COD's $100. Okay, wait, COD's a bad example because we get it every year. But let's say like I don't know. I can't even think of a game
I'm
right now.
Well, think about like the new Assassin's Creed that was going to be coming out,
Okay, yeah, yeah.
like that
Assassin's
could be
Creed,
one.
yeah, like
Shadows.
Shadows, yeah. Like if that game came out at $100, and I always wait for sales anyways because you just get way more bang for your buck. But the game's $100, it's probably going to go on sale for 70, which is the standard right now
Right.
as a brand new game. Now, like, are you really getting a deal? I don't know. Probably not because you don't know much about it. Now, if you are waiting for a $70 game to go down to like 30, now that's worth it, especially the Assassin's Creed open world games when they bundle like three together and you get three games for $30. You have like hours and hours of content.
Right. Yeah, and some of that too, like for sure, it is because of a time thing.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
definitely as games go on, like of course with Assassin's Creed, no one's really talking about the last two because we've got the new one coming out really soon. But there's other games too, like I'm trying to think I wanna say it's from the Star Wars franchise, like, they put out you remember some of those games, they were, like, complete duds that came
Yeah,
out?
the Jedi's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, there's a lot of games that I see them even on the store, when they come out, it's, like, 4 or 5 months later, if that,
Mhm.
and they're already down to, like, $20, and I'm like, "Damn, doesn't that really say something about the game here?" And
Mhm.
it's not just, like, rare to see this, you see this a lot where there's games that were put at 70 and nobody wants to buy them because they're like that's $70 and this game is trash
Mhm.
and I already know it's going to be bad, or they watch like Angry Joe or whoever review the game,
Mhm.
and then, like 2, 3 months later, it's $20. It's like, okay,
Mhm.
that's what this game is worth to them now,
Yeah.
But then all the people who spent $70 and got burned, it's like, man, you probably learn your mistake after the first time. I'm like that. I'm so careful about buying games at $70. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like both of us are. I mean,
yeah,
I talked about my PlayStation Wrap. I didn't play like many games at all. Granted, I was busy, but it's just like I'm very particular about the games that I buy at full price.
yeah,
There, you know, there are a handful of them. I will not spend that amount because like that's just so much money.
yeah.
Um, and I did read an interesting comment under um the tweet that was made, and someone was like, if that becomes a standard, $100, I'm gonna have to find a new hobby, which is totally fair because
Hmm.
dude, $100 is so much. Unless you find that game and you're playing all the time. Like for us, it's COD, right? Like even if we bought COD for $100, we're making that up, like no matter what. But like you said, imagine you buy some brand new single player game that you're really interested in, and it's made by like Ubisoft, a reputable developer, and then it's shit. You're out $100, like, and maybe the game's so bad you don't even want to beat it. Now you're
Right.
really out $100. That sucks.
Yeah, there would definitely be like closing out on this. Like my thought with it is, I don't think this is going to happen anytime soon.
Mhm,
I think though, as time goes on, I think there's definitely going to be developers that push the envelope a little bit and be like, let's go charge $80 for this. Or like when you're getting these pre-order bundles, it's already happened. I mean, there's games out there. I think it was for one of those Star Wars games where if you pre-ordered and got like the gold edition for the game in Assassin's Creed, it's like 130,
mhm,
$140 into a game that you've never played,
mhm.
and even still, there's not a lot of gameplay on it. I mean,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be people who, would not want to keep gaming, or they would be just very selective, like maybe they already are. But there's for sure people that would bitch about it, but then they would just go and buy it anyway. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like I feel like I would be one of those people. I would see a game, like, maybe if it's really good, I would bitch about it, but then if I kept hearing how unbelievable it was, I'd probably just cave and buy it.
Yeah.
Um,
And I mean, like, if you hear it's great though, that's the thing.
well,
Then
yeah,
in the article it says like right here that the industry is reportedly hoping the price gets raised so that others can follow suit. Um, and GTA 6 is going to sell no matter what, or no matter how much it costs. That's true, and that's because of us, right? That's because of
right.
all the gamers, and because Rockstar is a good developer, they're going to start this trend. Like you said, I don't think it's going to start up right away, but there's going to be some some weird developers out there that think their game is $100 worth, and they're really not. The going back to your Assassin's Creed example, you get the complete edition for $130, and you get like a couple skins, right? Back in the day, if you bought the collector's edition or whatever, you'd still get skins and you get extra money or like missions or something, but you could get like a physical um like statue, figurine, something like that, right? Whereas now it's all digital, but back in the day you could buy like brand like whole campaigns, with all that. And Assassin's Creed, personally, I think they do a good job with their like DLC. They do add a bunch of content in it, so that I can understand to an extent. But again, this is not speaking for every single developer. Call of Duty would put out a DLC now, like say now, and it's gonna be a skin in, you know, some like operator skin and weapon skins. That's it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, like, so, like, shifting off of this, like, talking about COD, like, that's why I think a lot of teams or just developers in general have kind of moved to this idea of you pay, $60 for the game, $70 for the game, and then additional content afterwards that's just going to be cosmetic and doesn't change the game. Now that's totally up to you. I
Mhm,
mean, I still think that the free to play model is one of the best models and probably one of the best ways to make money because everybody goes into it with no money in, so you don't even think about the $20 bundle or whatever anymore because you just be buying it and be like, well, I only spent I spent nothing on it. So if
mhm,
I spend, $80 on this game, it's like, well, that would have been a full game in one skin, you
mhm.
know. I think a lot of people use that to justify it. Like,
Which
dude,
no.
I went and played really quick. I was playing Marvel Rivals. I tried that for the first time.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm not into it. I'm
Yeah. We're
sorry.
just we're just
It's
COD guys, man.
yeah, I don't well,
Yeah,
I was playing with my buddy, and he's like,
yeah.
"Oh, dude, like, it's really fun." And I was like, "Yeah, it's not bad, like,
Mhm,
it's solid." I was piecing in it because
yeah.
I got good aim, but I'm like, "Yeah, I just don't really, I don't see it."
Mhm,
I'm gonna delete it off my PlayStation
mhm.
more than likely. But when you go on there, it's like all skins. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like right off the bat, you see all that. And I'm like, yeah, of course, you don't pay anything for the game.
Mhm,
People are going to start trying to flaunt that and be like, oh man, you got to go
mhm.
buy this, 15, $20 here or there.
Mhm. Which, that's completely justifiable, I think. Like, if you
Yeah,
value your game as free, I like charge whatever you want for the
right,
like skins and operate. That's what Fortnite did, right? And it
right,
works. But also Fortnite didn't charge 25, $30 for bundles. Uh and even if they did, like you said, game's free. You buy one bundle, it's 20 or 30 bucks. But yeah, I think developers they need to just look at how much they're charging their games, and if it's free, then I completely understand why there's a bunch of add-ons that you can get later on and you're not forced
right,
to do it. But if you're charging $70 for a game that's like not 100% done, and then on top of that, you're adding DLC or like bundles for $20-$30 every single season. Some people are spending upwards to like $1,000 on a game.
right.
That
Yeah,
sucks.
yeah, which it's ridiculous, and still too like there's I think a big thing that happens with these teams and because they have just I guess they've got, time frame constraints as to when they have to go and release certain games. That's why I was happy with Assassin's Creed because they're like shifting the date out longer and longer,
Mhm.
because they've got a whole bunch of issues going on. But I'm like, okay, hopefully during this time they're actually making some strides. Like I saw because there was big news, I thought, and I guess some people didn't really think as much, but um I saw that there was an update where in season 2, which I would say was coming out soon, they're gonna have crossplay, have the option to disable it, and
For
like
consoles,
along
for console
right, for
players.
just for
Yeah.
consoles, yeah. So
Mhm.
everyone's gonna have to go buy a PS5 or Series X now,
Yeah.
because we're superior again.
We are.
But you're right, I'm saying.
No hackers,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly. We don't gotta deal with shit. Undefeated too, by the way. But like the whole thing what I was saying, was with rank play, like I don't know really why. Like they did put it out earlier, which we were happy about that. But when you think about it now in retrospect, that was the wrong thing to do
Mhm.
because they weren't ready. Like with having all the hackers that they didn't have a viable anti cheat ready for it.
Mhm.
So they should have just waited. Now I don't know if that was because they wanted to just get it out early, or if there was pressure from Activision to go get it out because people were asking for it,
Mhm.
but that's like a case of if you just wait and you double check and make sure that everything's
Mhm.
perfect and it's going to run smoothly, then no one's going to really worry about it.
Mhm.
But if right off the bat, if it's fucked, like for them it
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
everyone's gone now. And then they're talking, oh, well, for, a huge majority of people who maybe deal with it, like, I say we don't because we're, low level, but still. Like, there's a
And
lot
we're
of
on
people who
console.
yeah, like,
Yeah.
they're trying to make some strides to make it better, but people are already kinda checked out. They're like, "Ah,
Mhm.
you already screwed me over the first time, like, I'm done, I'm not gonna bother."
Yeah, yeah, and, like, the who's to say that, you know, Activision, for example, was the one that was saying, "Don't put this turn off crossplay. Don't add that feature in. Let's just see how it
Right,
goes because Ricochet will be good." And we don't know. Maybe Treyarch is saying, "No, we should add this in, just in case as like a backup,
right,
fail safety, just in case for the console players at least." And Activision said, "No, we're going to test the waters." And then season one got screwed over, and everyone's blaming Treyarch, and also blaming Activision. And Treyarch could have been saying, "We told you.
right,
You should have let us add this feature in." Because the fact that this was a feature last COD, right? So it's in the game. The
yeah,
fact that this was able to be added so quickly, I could definitely see Activision just saying, "Oh, we need to get this fixed now because players are dropping off." And Treyarch, they're just that person that's like, "We told you.
yeah,
We told you that this should be in." Now they're adding it in, and you know, yeah, they made they put out like notes saying that they banned X amount of players again and all that stuff. And they've already lost so many players. It sucks. But
oh, yeah,
and it sinks too because this is Treyarch. Like, fan favorites. And now, like, do we really have a favorite? I still think it's Treyarch, but it sucks to see that other, longtime players or pro players, they don't have a developer anymore. Like, who do you trust? You know?
Yeah, I would still put, Treyarch up at the top for
Yeah.
sure. I think, like, anybody who during this time is blaming Treyarch is just dead wrong. I mean, it's not their fault at all. It's really just down to Activision that's, making making the decisions for them. I think Treyarch, like, with regards to their game, like, they've still been putting out content. They've been doing updates, like, doing what they can
Mhm,
on their end. It's just something that's way above them.
mhm,
And I think, like, they maybe have some influence there, but nowhere near as much as some people probably think that they do. Um, which, everything that's coming on with season 2, like, it's gonna be a big time for them because if they don't have this figured out, like, it's I don't know how long the seasons are again. What are they, like, 60, like, 70 days, something like
uh,
that?
the first season was a lot longer than I mean, the first season is always a lot longer, but I think,
Right.
yeah, like 60 days, 2 months.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if they don't really hit this off right and they don't have like an anti-cheat back, they don't have certain content that people are looking for, etc. Man, people are gonna just totally forget about this game and that's gonna be it. Like, I really don't think that this game, unless they could put like, hand to God that the game is 100% fixed later on in the year,
Mhm,
I don't think they can really come back from it.
mhm. Yeah, and what sucks too is that, some people in the comments, like, specifically Spotify, people have said, "I don't know what game you guys are playing because there are, like, other issues in the game, not just in ranked and hackers and stuff." And, like, I wanna address that there are a lot of other issues. You and I they're very small issues that do add up, but you and I just play the game and, you know, enjoy it for what it is.
Right.
But they're like stupid audio bugs. That is annoying. That I wouldn't say is a small issue. That is a big issue, but we just play through it. The stupid graphics where everyone's level 1, or the glitched graphics where I'm loading in and I can't see anyone's calling signs. Like, that stuff should not be broken at this point,
Well,
right?
I would say
Mhm,
too, a new one. I'm going to cut you off because I want you to keep going with it. Another thing too that I've had is when I'm into a game, I'm like right now I'm like level 11,
mhm,
right? But for whatever reason, my level stopped at level 8.
mhm,
So like when I'm in a game and I look at my scoreboard, it says level 8. But then when I
mhm.
go into like the main lobby, then I'm my normal level, you know?
Yeah. So,
And
like,
again,
these
small
graphics,
things, but it's like,
yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah. These small little graphics need to be fixed. Uh, and it just adds up. But and even like I'll be editing a class or whatever, and it's not the weapon that I chose. But
Right.
then I load into the game and it is a weapon that I have. It's just wasn't the weapon when I was editing it.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense. But trust me, you and I are very aware of the game that we're playing and the issues with it. We're just going into the match and playing, you know? Um,
Well, and I think too that, to our point before, there is a level of, like, just being content with some of this stuff. I think as I've gotten older, have just realized that there's gonna be problems in games no matter what, and I just
mhm.
don't really care, I'm like, "Okay, well, there's a little problem, it's not that big of a deal," and I really just play through it, and when I see people who complain about it, I'm like, "Dude, like, calm down, it's not that big of a deal," but I think I'm wrong. Like,
Yeah.
I really
No.
should be like, "No, dude, this you're right, like, this is fucked up. We paid $70
Yeah.
for this, and there's, like, graphical issues, and there's all these things, like,"
Mhm.
and, you know yeah, it's a problem. Like, when you wanna pay for something, you don't
Mhm.
expect it to half work, like, it should totally work, no
Yeah,
issue
yeah.
at all.
I mean, I completely agree with you. It's just nothing's gonna happen. That's why I'm like, I'm gonna just go and play the game. You know what I mean? Like, maybe it'll be fixed, maybe it won't be, but I'm playing their game at the end of the day, and uh, the graphic isn't gonna make me any better. I'm still gonna be good, like frying all the other people.
Right.
Sorry, complaining about these graphics, but I do think the mindset of we're paying $70 for a game, it should be fixed. Totally right. I've just, put shades down and I'm like, I'm just gonna play the game.
Yeah,
'Cause it's
and I
not
think we've just been like that.
yeah, because personally, like, I don't think going online and just shit talking like what's that gonna do? That's not good for anyone. It doesn't do anything. So, that's why I don't care. it's like whatever, you know.
Well, I saw a great talk on this. I can't remember the guy's name, but he Asmongold had him on there. And there's a clip of him talking about like, do developers understand what the players want,
Mhm.
you know? And he's like, no.
Mhm.
We don't. It's like that's the problem, you know? Like developers don't know what players want, and another problem too is players don't know what they want.
What the
But
that
but
that's a
but
big thing.
players, but
Yeah.
the big thing that all players know, like exactly from his words,
Yeah.
and I totally agree, is we all know what we don't want,
Yeah. Yeah.
you
I
know?
agree with that, but to an extent, like I'm not defending developers a little bit. Call of Duty, I don't care if we're boots on the ground, we're jetpacks, we're like flying around. It doesn't matter to me because I'm gonna learn how to do it. This community, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with all of us. People are like, no, boots on the ground, boots on the ground. We get boots on the ground. No one likes it.
Dude, this
Yeah,
sucks.
this sucks. Jetpacks, this sucks. No, what do you want? You know, like,
Right.
but I understand. It's not like black and white. I understand there's a bunch of other stuff that goes into whether it's boots on the ground or jetpacks with it. But my thing is play the game for what it is or just don't play it, you know? Um, you and I can come on here every single episode and just shit talk and complain about the game over and over. That Treyarch or Activision, they don't give a fuck. Because you know why? We're playing the game.
Right.
And the game's fun though. That's what sucks. And I hate seeing that this game's gonna go down as, you know, another one of those games where 3, 4 years down the line, you know, Black Ops 6 wasn't that bad. This was actually a pretty good game. And people were saying that about Cold War, and guess what? You and I were already on that train that it was a good game.
Yeah.
So, people should listen.
Yeah, people don't know how good it is until it's gone, you know?
Yeah.
People complain about this game and all that, you know, whatever, and for sure, they have, you know, some of their reasons like they do in all the other ones.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, this year, this is like a phenomenal game, and no doubt next year, whatever they put out, there's gonna be people halfway through the game that are gonna be going back to Black Ops 6 and playing it. Um, and it's funny how, like, MW3, no one's done that because that
Mhm.
game's shit.
Mhm.
And it's same thing with MW, like MW2. Like, you know, those games for us rank pretty low. And
Mhm.
Vanguard, ain't nobody going back to Vanguard playing that game. You know, all I hear people talk about with that is being like, "Dude, this game actually wasn't bad looking." I'm like, "Ah, bad looking, yeah."
Yeah.
That was the only thing it had going for it. You
Yeah.
know, this is the best one that we've had in a very, very long time since Cold War. You know,
Mhm.
no doubt. And like I said at the beginning, man, I mean, dude, I've been playing like, you know, 7, 8 hours a day by myself, just listening to music, and it's easy, you
Mhm.
know? Like it's not, I'm not loading into games being like, oh, dude, like I don't want to be playing this. It's like,
Mhm.
no, I actively want to play this, you know. I want
Yeah,
it,
yeah.
it's a fun game.
And
Um,
the bare minimum to that is like I know these maps aren't the best, but at least they're new maps. You know, like again, I keep looking at the positive things in this game where coming from like last year, right? We both said the game itself is what MW2 should have been. And it was. And like it was decent. I think it was all right. What ruined the game was just the maps right off the start. Like yeah, we played these maps over a decade ago, the same exact maps, and it doesn't work the same on
yeah,
a game like that. If MW3 launched with a whole new map set, because they added new maps later on, and the maps were like decent, you know, and the game probably would have been more fun. Treyarch released a game with brand new maps, and you know they added their own spin with new movement. This game is a lot of fun, but you know it's they learned from the previous developers. You know what? Maybe we shouldn't remaster all the maps again.
dude. And I'll say this right now, maybe this is a hot take. I'll say, like, since we're at the end of season 1 of Black Ops 6 and people are always talking shit
Mhm.
about the maps in this game, bro, I really think at the end of the day, the only bad maps in this game are legit like Red Card and Rewind.
Mhm.
Like, straight up. I don't
Yeah.
think, like, Scud is nowhere near as bad as of a map as I thought it was. Like, the only maps that I constantly skip would be Red Card and Rewind, and I would also say too Lowtown. Those are the maps that every time I see those, I'm like,
Mhm.
nope. I personally think those are just bad maps.
Mhm.
Other than that, like out of all the maps they've added, that's three.
Yeah,
You
I
know,
mean,
like I don't think
yeah,
there's the slander like that we had and I had was like not liking them. But as I've played this, I'm like, you know what? These maps ain't that fucking bad. They're actually pretty solid. But
yeah,
those ones, I'm like,
mhm,
yeah, those are terrible.
yeah, and it's probably a hot take too, but I'd play Red Card, Rewind, and Lowtown over all the remastered MW2 maps that we had last year. I don't wanna play the same exact maps over and over again.
Yeah.
It doesn't work on these games, like, fucking Taxman, take that shit out, man. Like, that's a whole
Right.
thing. Take that
Right.
out. Like, these maps just don't work. Um, but yeah, like you said, the maps are, like, what you take of it, like, I don't know. Personally, Red Card, I don't mind. The the only time I'm annoyed about it is, like, playing Hardpoint because the map's so damn big and the hardpoints are just everywhere. And then Rewind's just like there's too much space on that map, which is weird to say. I don't know
Rewind to me
because
is just bland.
yeah, like I don't know. And then well, so Lowtown's just I it's whatever. Like
Chaotic.
I don't know. Like I'd play Lowtown over those two,
Yeah.
but it's not a map where I jump in and I'm like whoa or whatever. I don't.
Right.
No, I think a lot of these maps in Black Ops 6 in my eyes are just like they're just mid, But I'll
Yeah.
play them. Like I played all through MW2 and all through Vanguard, man. Like
Right.
I'll take
Yeah.
what I can get.
Yeah, and I know you understand me too. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not saying these are great maps, but like when people were saying these are some of the worst maps we've ever
yeah, yeah,
had, like that's faded. Like
yeah,
they're not that bad. I'm sure if you go back and you stack them up against some of the maps that we've had in the
yeah,
past 5 years, like dude,
we can
compared to
find it.
Piccadilly,
Yeah,
like don't even start with me. And even watching them too, with the CDL this weekend, like watching those maps, I've gotten used to them. Like I don't
mhm,
really mind why Protocol is like one of the only maps I don't really like watching
mhm.
Search and Destroy on because it's like the same kind of deal all
Yeah,
the time. Like I just it's gonna play out.
mhm.
Um, but yeah, even watching them like in the CDL, I don't think they're that bad. Now playing them, probably as
That's
much as
different.
they are,
Yeah,
that's a different
yeah,
deal, but they're not as bad to watch.
mhm. Yeah. I
You
mean, when
know,
you have really good competition, and everything's close. It's fine, but I mean, I'm sure. I don't think they wanna be playing Vault, like, 3 times out of the 5
yeah,
maps they play maybe,
no,
Like,
no,
I can understand that, but,
yeah.
um, yeah, like, going to the CDL stuff, like
Did you watch the matches this weekend?
yeah, I've been keeping up with everything, even
Dude,
though I haven't been on.
dude.
Match fantastic. It's like we came off really good matches out the minor, and then really good matches for, the first week of qualifiers. So,
Mhm.
our boys Boston. Dude,
Dude.
these guys are top they're a top team. I'm gonna
Yeah.
say they're a top team. Um, it was awesome to see them beat Ravens, and, like, someone, in chat, I don't know who it was, like, made a comment that, I didn't even think of this. TJ, Vivid, and Slasher are all on Boston. I was
Yeah, yeah.
like, "Wait, I didn't even realize that."
Yeah. All the players did except Gwen.
Yeah,
I was like,
and I'm sure
"Damn."
they all left. Gwen's, like, a beast. He's insane. He's,
Mhm.
another new talent, so obviously you want a team with, like, another younger person, but then
Right.
we got Snoopy, and he
Yeah.
Snoopy is coming together, you
Yeah.
know? Eh,
Dude, he's hitting his form, bro.
he is.
He's looking great. I mean, that whole team again, they're such an odd group because they like we said, they don't seem like on paper the best players, like power wise, but
Mhm,
man, they just have worked really well together. I mean, like the matchup we're talking about, like when they faced Carolina, I was worried about that. That was a real test for them. Because Carolina, from I think last time we said that they were fourth place, and probably a lot of people would put them
mhm,
there. Um, I thought it was gonna be way closer, and it was not. I mean, they steamrolled them.
mhm,
That last hard point on Vault
mhm.
was disgusting.
Yeah, I think the only close match was the first hard point 'cause they were down,
Yeah.
pretty sure, and
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
they just came back, and, uh, like you said, these guys, it's insane. Purge, dude. Purge is just remember when all of us were shitting on him when he was in
Bro.
Vegas and wasn't playing well, and he he just works with these players, and this is a prime example of chemistry, like really, really matters.
Yeah, bro. He was on one.
I thought he was gonna
It
break the record. He went like
yeah,
48 and 12 or something on that vault.
y yeah, no, I think he did a little bit less. I'm trying to see,
I think
if
it was
I can find it
it was 40
because
something.
yeah, no, it was insane, like, how well he did that match.
He couldn't
I'm
be
trying
killed.
to Oh, no, he was ridiculous. Where is it? I wanna see in the hard points here because I don't know if they have them. Um, where was it? Picks videos, map records. It doesn't really say for it. It's like overall with the team.
Mhm,
Um, actually, does it say it here? Yeah, that with that Carolina that qualifier overall, his KD was a 1.27
mhm.
throughout the whole thing. He 113 kills and 89 deaths.
Yeah.
It's fucking insane. His hardpoint KD was a 1.57. The dude was just he was pacing.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
that was map 4. What is it? He went here. Yeah, 45 and 20 found it. Yeah. A
yeah, for
2.5
his
KD,
hardware.
bro.
Yeah,
Like Jesus.
yeah, he cooked. I mean, Boston just they look really good. Like, they can hang with, these top teams, and, uh, I'm sure when they play, like I mean, they've already beaten Optic once technically, right?
Mhm.
They beat Optic. When they still play the Phases and Thieves, and even, like, I guess, like, Cloud9 at times, whatever, but they're hanging in there, you know?
Right.
But I can
Right.
see them maybe they're not taking series every single time, but the fact that it's possible and it's not like it has to be complete luck for them to take something from them, this is a good sign.
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's such a change from last year and the year prior. I mean, dude, it was we couldn't buy one,
Mhm,
it was ridiculous. And now going into these, like, they're definitely a favorite.
mhm,
There's no doubt that they're in that fight for the fourth spot.
mhm,
It's just gonna be a matter of like when they go and face off against Thieves and face off against Optic and Phase, consistently that we see where they are. Like you said before, they beat Optic, that was a huge win.
mhm.
Um, but it's just gonna be, like say they lose to Optic, does that immediately make them like lesser of a team? You know, I don't think so. I
No.
think it all depends on how that match plays out. It's like if they fight them hard and it's like, they beat them like a gritty 3-1 or 3-2,
Mhm.
then it's like, yeah, they're definitely less than them, but it's like they're still an insane team. They're, looks like this year they may make it to champs. Thank
Yeah.
God. And
And you
they
know
may
what's
make it to a Saturday.
yeah, and, I think that's crazy is that I think last year, a lot of people thought that was gonna be the most competitive year of the CDL. I would say this year is probably the most competitive.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because I mean, the teams are crazy. Like, we all thought that Thieves, Optic, and Face are just gonna run everyone.
Right,
That hasn't
right.
been the case. I mean, those are still amazing teams, but uh, Rocker's another team. Like they're just so like gritty. They go to map 5 all the time, and I wouldn't say it's a coin flip that they're gonna win or not, but they can win, you know? And seeing Boston coming from dead last to now, I think they're in 5th right now.
Yeah, I
That's
think so.
that's insane. Like,
Let's see
I
if I
mean,
can.
as long as they're not dead last, then, that is perfectly fine.
Yeah, well, they're in a well, this is major one qualifier standings. Right now they're in fifth place, but it's a three-way tie for third.
Mhm. Oh, yeah,
Ult-
it's for, seating.
yeah, right now Ultra's up at the front. I don't know if they must have, oh yeah, the regular season maybe they have this year. I'm trying to even see where it is. If they can show like, oh, the qualifier standings, that's where it's at.
Mhm.
Um but yeah, point being they're right there.
Yeah.
Like they're they've kind of just, I don't know. They've pretty much shown that they can beat all the teams below them,
Mhm.
pretty easily. Um, I shouldn't say pretty easily, but they can definitely beat
They can
them.
beat them. Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it's just going to be against like again the ultras, Optic. Ultra's one of those teams that I keep forgetting about. If I'm being real, like I keep
Mhm,
thinking that they've definitely regressed this year because they lost Scrap and they
mhm,
lost Envoy, but they're like doing really well with
mhm.
having Joe Deceives and Beans there. Like
Yeah,
that's another team to just think about. Like you're totally right. The competition this year is really really good.
yeah, and I think the the chemistry, well, on a lot of these teams are just they're really good,
Yeah,
and obviously it's a new game and like the movement and stuff plays a role into it. But I think we all thought these Phase and Optic were just gonna run through everyone,
yeah,
and that is definitely not the case.
yeah.
And like closing off on everything too, like banger matchup that everybody was looking forward to, Thieves and Optic. That was insane. If you guys didn't watch it, you got to go watch it because it went map 5, round 11, and I'm going to say this now.
Say it,
All the
Justin.
Optic fans,
Say it.
where they did not want Kenny. They wanted Draza. They did not want Kenny. And then Kenny wins a 1v2 against his old team for them to win. Round 11, map 5. Like everybody said, "No, we don't want him. We don't want him." He is the guy that Optic needed.
100%. Bro, Kenny just he's that one puzzle piece that they couldn't find it, and then they did. And
Mhm,
now he's just made that team. And Hook, dude, Hook's been playing insane.
mhm,
Like this squad, I don't know. We talked about it last time about how thinking that Pred might come back. I mean, dude, right now, like I think this is a case of it ain't broke. Definitely don't fix it. Like
mhm.
they're doing really well. It's gonna depend when they show up at the major, but right now they look great. And dude, I mean, the thing to me, I think this says a lot about like we could all learn from this, and just being like, I don't know, like a better teammate, better players and stuff. Do you see the VOD
Yeah,
of them?
the
Yeah.
comms. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, when they had the comms for it, people haven't seen this, dude. They went down 5-1, right?
Mhm,
So when they lost that round and they need a match point, they're still just like, all right, all good, all good.
mhm.
Like they're so calm. They're so no one's like, dude,
Yeah.
whatever. Not like there ain't no time for that. You
Mhm,
know what I mean? And even still, like right off in that, I think it was for the the one that they were gonna win to go up 5-2.
mhm.
uh they they were like, not upset when they died. They were just immediately like, yo, you're like, just complete composure is
Mhm.
my whole point.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
dude, I've been victim of that. We all have. Like when we die, it's like, dude, what? Like you're bitching or like something. Dude, those guys, they didn't give a fuck that
Yeah,
they were
yeah,
that
yeah.
they were down there. And then I had to tune in, unfortunately. I had to watch Octane's pain on
Mhm.
his stream. Bro, he was like, there's no way this is happening.
Yeah.
And he's like, it goes to 5, and he's just like, "Oh my god, it's happening." He's like, "They are losing it."
Mhm.
It was unbelievable. I was playing a game. I saw like I had pulled up, and I'm like, "Oh, dude, Optic lost." Like that's me.
Mhm.
That's why I ain't a pro.
Mhm.
I'm like, "Oh, dude, Optic lost, whatever." And then I go back to it like 5 minutes later, and I'm like, "Oh man, this is like 4-5 right now." I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh, dude, they can maybe do this." And then they got that round 11. I'm like, "Oh my god!"
yeah.
Like
Oh,
it
that's what
was insane.
the confidence. I mean, these guys have all been there before, right? Like, you have to have complete confidence of yourself and the team, and that's what they had, and they came back and won, and Hook was so I think he said it when they were down 5-1. He was like, "Guys, I think as long as we just don't let them get 1 pick, we're gonna win." I'm like, "Damn, you're saying that?" And, like, I mean, he was completely right. I mean, also, if you're playing a 4v3, you should win no matter what, right? Unless some
Right.
crazy thing happens. And, which it did happen, by the way, against, it was Heretics against C9, and it was round no, it wasn't round 11, but it was C9 was coming back, and I think it was Metals that clutched it, but it was a 1v3 for the win. It was going into round 11, I think. It was
Yeah,
round
yeah.
10. And he killed Attach, and then he killed, who was
I think it was Mac
it might have been Mac,
because
because, yeah, I think Mac was
Sib was
planting.
left.
Yeah,
Sib was
Sib was
left.
far away, yeah. He wasn't there for the
Yeah.
trade, and I'm like, "Oh my god, they just choked," and they did, but Yeah, the Kenny, I don't know. It's just insane, like what he did, and
Dude.
it's just so funny now to see that everyone's like praising him when he's in different jersey.
Right.
And also, I'm gonna say Kenny was the one that fucked Boston because I thought Wake clutched a 1v3 in the minor and
Yeah.
on protocol, and then I thought he killed Kenny. Kenny was the one that saved them and knocked Boston out.
Yeah.
They were that close. We
Right,
are that
right.
close, dude. But Kenny does it again. He's a clutch player, and he 1v2'd somehow. I thought he was for sure dead uh,
Yeah, I
on the
thought it was
second
over.
time, and the I think it was Envoy. I think that was last that he died. I think it was him. Or was it
Yeah.
Hydra? It was
Yeah,
Envoy. Yeah,
yeah, both of them were in the
yeah, yeah.
1v2, but
But
yeah, Envoy was the last guy
yeah, he got caught sprinting and sliding.
on his birthday, bro.
Yeah, sprinting and sliding. And you know what? I'm gonna say it. If there was no tax sprint, that would have been a slide into slide into a slide cancel.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, that was just
He's gotta
awesome.
blame that one on Treyarch.
Tax
They
sprint, man.
costed him.
I blame who started it? Infinity Ward, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
blame them.
No tax sprint. Get rid of that.
Yeah. That's a long strand blame there, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
He could take it with him to the grave,
yeah.
but yeah, man, I thought that match was amazing. It
Mhm,
was so good. Um, I love seeing I love seeing Scump on his stream because that's mainly what I watch during it. Um, like they're down 5-1 and he's just like, I've seen crazier things, you know? And like and then they go 2-5. He's like, this is doable. This is
mhm,
he's like, not easy, but this is doable for sure. You know? The guy never losing faith in them. And I'm like, it was a real feel good moment.
mhm. Yeah,
So
and
yeah, that was pretty sick. I guess now we got just like I said, one more week, right?
yeah, and then major time. And what's nice is that we're gonna see a lot of these like banger matchups. This one went optics
Yeah.
way. I'm sure there's gonna be a time where it goes phases way, or it's gonna go thieves, or like the other teams too, right? So
Right.
no matter how down bad this game is, I swear, like the CDL, like even though CDL's down bad too,
Right.
these
Still
matches,
comes through.
yeah, these matches will be good.
Yeah.
And there's a bunch of content still going on. Like even though I just said like COD fans, we're all fucking crazy, but CDL fans are even crazier. But no matter the game or whatever it is, we're all resilient and we all tune in and watch these games at the end of the day. And the numbers show. Like we're always averaging like pretty good numbers no matter the state of the game.
Right.
Um, but yeah, and there's always like content being made. Like I have Scum stream pulled up, then I have Zuma stream pulled up, and it's just people are going crazy in
Right.
both of them. Um, but yeah, that those were good matches. I hope we see some of those at the major, which
Yeah.
I'm
Big
sure
time.
we will.
Oh, no doubt we will. I mean, I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be it's gonna be really good. Thankfully, having the CDL matches back definitely reinvigorates the excitement for the league.
Hmm.
And especially seeing our boys walk away with a huge W on the weekend. Yeah, I'm really, really looking forward to it.
Hmm. Let us start in winners. Give us
Yes, please.
winners, man,
Make life easy for us.
and don't let us start off against like Optic
Or
or
fucking
Phase.
phase.
Yeah,
like, like, please not.
yeah.
But but yeah, man, I think that's pretty much it for me. I don't know about if you have anything else you wanted to close out on.
No, I mean like yeah, CDL. If you guys haven't been watching, just watch it. Season 2 will be out. Um, I mean this week. So by the time you guys are listening and watching, it's already out.
Yep.
Uh, hopefully it's good. That's all we can really say at this
Right.
point. Um, you and I will definitely be playing more because I've well, still busy, but I want to make more time and play. And
Yep.
also, there's going to be a new zombies map coming out, and I saw some teasers of this thing, and it looks fucking good. So I want
Mhm.
to grind out the Easter eggs like on all the other ones, and then
Yeah, dude.
we'll be late to talk about it, but
We'll
it is
get
what it
there
is.
in the end.
Well, we'll get there. We'll get there. It's
Yeah.
like we'll all hit 10th at
We've
some
got
point.
time. We've
Yeah,
got time.
yeah. It's only it's January.
Yeah. January
Also,
20th.
dude, it's January and you're ninth. Just think about that.
I know, bro. I was like,
January. Yeah, it's January. The game's been out for 3 months.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, like last thing, bro, is I look like as you can see when you entered prestiges,
Mhm.
there are some of those. It's like December 6th, entered the next one, December 7th. I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus. I was like, that's disgusting work. And then there's one of them where it's like I think it's for 7th. It was like entered it was like January 2nd or something like
Mhm.
that. And then now I'm doing it like going into the next one on like the 18th or something. I'm like,
Mhm.
that's bullshit.
Yeah.
That's like my
Yeah.
longest time. I'm like, that's terrible.
Yeah. I hope they add back like 2v2s, like the
Oh
face
no,
offs,
big time.
because these God, don't take these out,
I know.
Treyarch. Just
Stop
keep
getting rid
them
of them.
in.
Just keep them for the
Yeah.
love of God.
But yeah. I think that's it.
Yeah,
So
I think that's it, bro.
yeah, if you guys are on YouTube, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe over there. TikTok, we're back. We were banned
It's
for
true.
12 hours. We're also back. So make sure to go on
Forgot, bro.
anchor.fm. Anchor.fm/the COD Casuals. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other streaming platforms. If you don't want to listen to the whole thing, we clip it up and post it on Instagram and TikTok for the foreseeable future. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh, 5-star ratings on every
Always.
platform. And also make sure to leave a comment if you are a Spotify listener. Like, leave comments down there because we're always reading them and replying to
Yep.
them. And make sure to follow us on Twitter and just everything in general. We're always on
Yep.
there. So,
Yep.
but yeah, I think that's it.
That's it, bro.
All right, cool. Well, thank you, everyone. This has been episode 206 of the COD Casuals. We're your host, Justin,
And I'm Mike.
and we'll see you guys next week.
Take it easy, everybody.
See ya.